Why does God do miracles? Number one, God does miracles as a sign. God performs miracles as a sign to authenticate his messengers in order to validate their message. In Exodus chapter 4 from verse 1, and Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto me, for they will say, the Lord has not appeared unto thee. So the Lord sent Moses to Egypt to go and rescue his people. And Moses said, what if they don't believe me? And then the Lord said to Moses, when you get there, drop your rod and it will turn to serpent. And then pick it up again and it will turn to a rod. This is for them to believe that truly God sent you. Number two, God performs miracles as a wonder. In Matthew chapter 8 from verse 26, Jesus was traveling with disciples on the boat, and suddenly a great storm arose. And in the midst of that storm, Jesus arose and rebuked the wind, and his disciples marveled. God does wonders so that men can wonder and be amazed at the glorious things God can do. This kind of miracle is called a wonder. That's why we have something called signs and wonders. Somebody says signs and wonders. God does miracles, and the third reason is for a divine intervention. This is to bring help to those in need, comfort to the afflicted, solution to difficult problems, and to make a way in a helpless situation. In 2 Kings chapter 4 from verse 1, we find there an interesting story. Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophet unto Elisha, saying, thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my two sons to be bondmen. So here we find a situation that was very difficult. This woman was in debt, and the creditor has come to take her sons for slave. And then she came and cried unto the man of God and said, man of God, help me. And this miracle that followed was a divine intervention to the difficult situation she was in. The fourth reason why God does miracles is as a judgment to the enemy. In Exodus chapter 7, from chapter 7, and you read it through to chapter 12, you'll find when God sent Moses to the Egypt to go and deliver his people, several miracles, several wonders took place. The turning of water to blood, and all the miracles that happened, all of that was to judge Egypt for enslaving God's people and for refusing to let them go. Particularly in chapter number 14, God judged Pharaoh and his army and drowned them in the Red Sea. So this miracle of parting the Red Sea and drowning Pharaoh and his army into the Red Sea was judgment over the enemy for enslaving and for refusing to let God's people go. The fifth reason why God does miracles is just to do good. Acts chapter 10 verse 38 declares how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost and power, who went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with him. He went about doing good. He went about helping those in need. He went about solving problems. He went about relieving men of pain and affliction and sorrow. God does miracles just because he wants to do good. But the greatest miracle you can receive is the miracle of salvation. That's why the Bible declares in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 from verse number 2, for he said, I have had thee in a time accepted. and in the day of salvation have I succored thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Today is the day of salvation. Today is also the day that God will deliver you from sickness and disease, that God will set you free from affliction and pain and sorrow.